Good afternoon. I'll now call this meeting of the National EMS Advisory Council to order. Thank you, representatives, for joining us today. My name's Gam Wijay-Tunga. Please just call me Gam. I'm Director of the Office of Emergency Medical Services at the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration within the U.S. Department of Transportation. And I have the distinct honor of serving as NEMSAC's Designated Federal Officer, or DFO. And I'll be serving as your moderator today until a council chairperson is elected. I'd like to offer a warm welcome to all of the NEMSAC and to those of us from the National EMS community joining via the live stream. As a reminder, moving forward, our NEMSAC meetings are being held in a virtual format with representatives joining from their respective locations across the nation. During today's meeting, we will be observing parliamentary processes outlined in Robert's Rules of Order. Representatives, please remember that this is a public meeting. Please hold your questions and comments until the floor is open for discussion or until you're recognized. So we will now proceed with introductions and disclosures of conflicts of interest. Representatives, I will state the name of each EMS sector. When I call your sector, please unmute, state your name and location, and declare any conflicts of interest that you may have. All right, so kicking it off with Air Medical EMS.
Good morning, this is Keith McMahon. And I have no conflict of interest. Thank you.
Thank you. Consumers.
Good morning, Anthony Bledsoe, and no conflict of interest.
Thank you. Data management officials.
Juan Philip, Texas. No conflict of interest.
Thank you. Emergency management officials.
Dustin Calhoun, Cincinnati, Ohio, no conflicts of interest.
Emergency nurses.
Teresa Wyndham, Mississippi, no conflicts of interest.
Emergency physicians. Okay, we will circle back later to see if emergency physicians representative is here. EMS clinicians.
Good afternoon, George Aguilera, Naples, Florida, no conflicts.
EMS educators.
Richard Rhodes, Georgia, no conflicts.
EMS physicians.
Nicholas Cozy, Chicago, Illinois, no conflicts.
EMS researchers.
Hi, good afternoon. Angela Cornelius from Fort Worth, Texas, and no conflicts.
Fire-based EMS.
Derek Bergson, Fort Collins, Colorado, no conflicts.
Hospital administration.
Bill Leggio, Eau Claire, Wisconsin, no conflicts.
Hospital-based EMS.
Good afternoon, Art Samaras, Morristown, New Jersey, no conflicts.
Local EMS officials.
Mordechai Twersky, Lakewood, New Jersey, no conflicts.
Pediatric emergency physicians.
Shay Daring, Birmingham, Alabama, no conflict.
Private EMS.
Good afternoon, Mike Thomas, Beckley, West Virginia, and I sit on the American Ambulance Association Board of Directors.
Thank you, Mike. Public health officials.
Good afternoon, Geraldine Jones, Little Rock, Arkansas, no conflicts.
Quality improvement officials.
Hey, Crystal Shelnut. I'm from Athens, Georgia. No conflicts.
State EMS officials.
Steve McCoy, Florida. No conflicts.
State highway safety officials.
Good afternoon, everyone. Danny Locke, Nashville, Tennessee, no conflicts.
State or local legislators.
Mark Hart, Kentucky, no conflicts.
Trauma surgeons.
Peter Fisher, Fayetteville, Arkansas, no conflicts.
Tribal EMS.
This is Dion Reed. I'm representing for IHS. Not sure if that would represent that, but checking there. No conflicts.
Thanks, Dion. I think we were looking for the tribal EMS sector representative, Eric Emery, if he's on the line. Just pause, see if Eric's there. If not, we'll circle back in a sec. Volunteer EMS.
Volunteer EMS, Kevin Turley, Alabama, no conflict.
All right, and I'll just circle back real quick to see emergency physicians, see if Dr. Allison is on the line. And circling back to tribal EMS to see if Eric Emery is on the line. Okay, if they join us later, we'll be sure to give them a chance to introduce themselves and disclose their conflicts. Thank you, members. All right, first order of business, approval of the NEMSAC meeting minutes. Representatives, you've received digital copies of the summary of our previous NEMSAC meeting. Per Robert's Rules of Order, meeting records do not require a formal motion for approval, only a vote. So before we vote, are there any corrections or amendments to the record? Any corrections? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor of approving the minutes as recorded, please unmute and say aye.
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 All those opposed, please unmute and say nay. Any abstentions? Hearing none, the motion passes. Thank you all. Moving right along to NHTSA initiatives and updates. Well, that comes actually back to me, and I will just provide a brief and I think very timely update to the members of the council. As of just a few hours ago this morning, Secretary of Transportation Sean Duffy released the department's National Roadway Safety Strategy, which sets the department's vision for achieving zero deaths on America's roadways moving forward. Again, this was just released only a few hours ago. So most people have probably not had a chance to read it, but I am very excited to talk about it just briefly, and we'll be sure to provide you a link to the press release and the plan itself. I don't want to bury the lead, but throughout the National Roadway Safety Strategy, there are issues that I believe NEMSAC will be particularly interested in there. There is a big focus on public safety and first responders in the community. And the National Roadway Safety Strategy highlights some of the same priorities that NHTSA Administrator Jonathan Morrison outlined earlier this year in NHTSA's Pathways to Safer Streets strategy. And that includes a big focus on the importance of emergency medical dispatch, pre-hospital blood transfusion, and advanced automatic crash notification, as well as broadly improving post-crash care in the United States. So again, it is only a few hours old, but I'm confident it will be of interest to the NEMSAC as you continue deliberations, particularly in your new subcommittees. Also, and I may spend a few minutes talking about this later on, but our partners on the Federal Interagency Committee on EMS have been holding extensive deliberations, much of it public, on the importance of pre-hospital blood transfusion to the nation. And I expect in the near future that the chair of FICOMS, NITS Administrator Jonathan Morrison, will be sending a letter to the NEMSAC requesting advice on how we can support, as a community, further adoption of pre-hospital blood transfusion throughout the country. And again, I think this will be of particular interest to both the NEMSAC overall and your newly formed subcommittees that we'll be talking about in a minute. I do want to pause for a second and turn to the man behind the scenes here, Clary Mole, and see if there's anything I might have skipped over.
That's the stuff that's hot off the presses. Thank you.
Thanks, Clary. So we're more than a few minutes ahead of schedule. But why don't we move ahead, if there's no objections, to updates from our FICOMS partners, from our federal agency partners on the Federal Interagency Committee on EMS. And I'll hand the floor first to the United States Fire Administration. I believe I saw Doug Williams on here. Doug or Chief Patrick, if you're here, if you want to provide an update.
Hey, Gam, Greg Williams here.
Sorry, I just called you Doug, didn't I?
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay.
Sorry,
just
Greg.
don't call me late for dinner. Yeah, Chief Patrick sends his regards, and he is listening in, but isn't able to be on to present today. Just really quickly, a couple of things. We recently released our update of the EMS Medical Director's Handbook. It's been a long time coming. It is fully updated, and for any EMS medical director out there, go ahead and please go to usfa.fema.gov and check it out. We have a whole EMS list up there of not only publications, but also classes from the National Fire Academy, which we just, in the last month here, got CAPC approval for. So now when people attend National Fire Academy courses in EMS, of which there are 19, including some that are being piloted, including a new field training officer program here in the next few months, they will be eligible for CAPC credit as well. That's been a long time coming. We also have gone ahead and put out a behavioral health study, which is we've been working on that with the International Association of Fire Chiefs for the last several years, and that was finally put out here in the last month. We are also working with HHS right now to work on an EMS burn care study and a roadway responder safety study that we're working with you guys, and having some good collaboration across the board there. Happy to entertain any questions, and we're going to keep moving into the next group here. So.
Thanks, Greg. And I don't know why I was calling you Doug, but
That's
I appreciate your patience.
No problem, Gab.
Let the record reflect that his name is, in fact, Greg. All right. Thank you so much. Let's move on to our next FICOMS partner update. Dr. Sean Michael from the Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services. Sean.
Thank you, Gam, and sorry for my technical snag there. Really great to get connected with everybody. Brief updates from CMS, and really wanted to mostly set the stage to invite you all to be part of our network of folks who are looking at the multitude of ways that we can help advance EMS care across the country. There are a number of proposed rules that are out right now, including some that touch on emergency medical care adjacent topics. EMTALA enforcement is one. We're certainly interested in getting comments from all of the various constituencies that you all represent. We have a lot of work underway in the pre-hospital blood transfusion realm, and that's obviously been something where we've partnered with Office of EMS very closely to look at all of the levers that we have available. And as many of you all know, a couple of years ago, we were able to revise some of the ALS2 specifications on the ambulance fee schedule to include pre-hospital blood administration at the ALS2 level, and we continue to look at what other levers we have available to continue to advance that work. We have a lot of pieces of hospital-wide flow and emergency department-related flow that touches EMS offload delays and many of the challenges that face EMS across rural and urban areas and through all of the various geographies that you all represent across the country, and have a number of places where we're looking at both understanding the CMS authorities that we have and using those authorities to advance ways of delivering care in out-of-hospital settings that doesn't necessarily result in a transport to the hospital, right? We're pretty limited in the way that the statute's constructed right now for paying for ambulance transportation, but we're certainly very interested in your ideas and your input. So really wanted to sort of set the stage for future conversations to come. Happy to do more deliberate updates at future meetings or to have one-off conversations with any of you or with folks as you're looking at what NEMSAC as a body can do. We have CMS representation on FICAMs as well. And as I said, work closely with Gam and his team to make sure that we're aligned across agencies, but happy to take questions either now or later, depending upon what the flow of the agenda looks like, and really would love to be in your network of folks. Thanks for the invite to do this today.
Thank you, Sean. Let's go next to our partners with the Indian Health Service, Dion Reed.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. And I'm Dion Reed with IHS headquarters, representing Dr. Kanan, who will be the representative for FICAMs. But just wanted to share some brief updates. So we're working on Indian Health Manual, Chapter 17, EMS. So updating that chapter, and that's currently under internal review in our clearance process. And once finalized, the chapter will provide updated policy and guidance for our EMS programs across IHS. And then in addition to that, we're developing an EMS site visit evaluation template, and that's currently under review from our Chief Medical Officer as well. We're also working through some workforce development through our National Community Health Aid Program. So last month, the National Community Health Aid Program Board reviewed the draft National Community Health Aid Standards and Procedures, which included a proposal to establish the EMR credential as a national minimum emergency care training standard for our community health aides, while preserving area flexibility to exceed that baseline based on local needs. So that's currently under review by the National CHAP Board, and fingers crossed that that will be the standard. And then we're also working on developing a national EMS program registry to document IHS, tribal, and local EMS agencies. So that way we can improve visibility of 911 and 988 coverage as well. And then some of our initiatives that we are currently working on is our EMS for Children Hybrid Simulation Program, the Obstetric Readiness and the Emergency Department Program, and our Indian Country ECHO, which is a virtual learning network that connects providers and SMEs to strengthen emergency care in rural and tribal communities. And that's all I have, and I can pass it back. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dion. Great work going on at IHS. Looks like I talked too fast, so we are running quite a bit ahead of schedule. So we have a little bit of extra time. I just want to pause and see if there's any of our other federal partners that would like to take the mic. And maybe just raise your digital hand, and I'm happy to call on you.
We can also take questions from the council if they have any for the FICOM's reps present. But I think Kate just came off mute, so go ahead and speak up, Kate.
Sorry, I was having trouble getting my hand to raise. So my name is Kate Elkins. I'm the EMS Division Director for the Office of Health Security in the Department of Homeland Security. So just welcome to the new NEMSAC, and happy to collaborate and be a partner. I'm also the co-chair of the Federal Operations Working Group with FICOMS, and that group really collaborating with our federal EMS partners, and then also working with NEMSAC. So we are a resource for all of you, and then happy to collaborate on any issues that cross over from the DHS world. Welcome.
Thanks, Kate. Good to meet you. I've heard a lot of great things. I'm just giving her a hard time. Let's just see. Any go ahead.
So hi folks, I'm Teresa Morrison-Kanata. I also want to say welcome and hello from the Health Resources and Services Administration. We appreciate you joining the NEMSAC and providing insight and support in this work. I want to share that last year, HRSA EMS for Children conducted a national pediatric readiness assessment, and our researchers have published findings related to that work, and we'll be sharing that through our partners here at NHTSA with you very shortly. Thank you so much for your time and support.
Thank you, T. Good to see you. And as Clary mentioned, please just go, council members, if you, since we are ahead of schedule, if you have any questions for any of our federal partners, please chime in.
We also have Eric Emery and Jerry Allison here to they can do their introduction real quick.
Oh, great. Thank you, Clary. Jerry and Eric, if you wouldn't mind, we'll start with Dr. Allison. If you could unmute, and let me scroll back in my script here just a little bit.
Emergency physicians.
Emergency physicians. Dr. Allison is representing the emergency physicians. If you could unmute and state your name and location and declare any conflicts of interest you may have.
Good morning. Yeah, Jerry Allison here. I'm in Dallas, Texas, and I don't have any conflicts.
Thank you, Dr. Allison. And over to Eric, representing Tribal EMS. Eric, if you could unmute and introduce yourself and declare any conflicts of interest.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. Eric Emery, Tribal Representative from Roseville, South Dakota. No conflicts of interest.
Thank you for joining us, and we have a full council. Very exciting. All right, bear with me a sec here. Let me make sure I'm staying on script. We do have our next point of business here is the NEMSAC chair and vice chair vote. So following up on our nomination process, we'll now conduct the formal vote for the election of the NEMSAC chairperson and vice chairperson. Under DOT Order 1120.3E and the Federal Advisory Committee Act, these proceedings must be documented publicly, and the Moving Ahead with Progress for the 21st Century Act requires, or MAP 21 requires, the council to select its chairperson. However, it does not require the vice chairperson to be elected. The NEMSAC charter does. So in a few moments, we'll elect the council chairperson and vice chairperson by secret ballot from the candidates nominated at our May 20th, 2026 meeting. The candidates for chairperson were Michael Thomas and Dr. Angela Cornelius. The candidates nominated for vice chairperson were Nicholas Cozy, Shay During, Crystal Shellnut, and Kevin Turley. Clary will now and has already dropped a link to the ballot in the Zoom meeting chat that will only be accessible to the NEMSAC representatives. Please vote for chairperson and vice chairperson when you have access to the link. Once all ballots are collected, we'll announce the results. And I will defer the announcement of results to my colleague Clary once voting is complete.
You can proceed with the agenda, and I'll let you know whenever I have a result.
Thank you, sir. All right, let's proceed then to the announcement of subcommittee names and purposes. Excuse me. So under DOT Order 1120.3E, subcommittees are strictly regulated to ensure alignment with the Parent Advisory Committee, NEMSAC. The previous existing subcommittees of NEMSAC have been abolished or not identified in the new NEMSAC charter. So we have proposed new subcommittee names and purposes that have been approved by the Secretary of Transportation. At this time, I'm pleased to officially announce the names and structural purposes of the newly established NEMSAC subcommittees that were approved by Secretary Duffy just a few weeks ago. There are 3 new subcommittees, each with an assigned purpose. The first is clinical excellence. The Clinical Excellence Subcommittee will focus on increasing pre-hospital blood transfusion rates for hemorrhagic shock patients, enhancing pediatric burn and trauma care, and advancing clinician education for time-critical emergencies. Other focuses of this subcommittee shall include professionalism, safety, education, continuous quality improvement, evidence-based care, and improved outcomes. The government is also requesting the following key objectives be addressed by this subcommittee. 1, national adoption of pre-hospital blood transfusion for hemorrhagic shock patients, and advancing pediatric-specific care through pediatric emergency care coordinators and specialized burn and trauma research, while also providing input to EMS Education 2050, the revision of the EMS education agenda for the future, a systems approach. So that was a mouthful, but I'm going to proceed to the next subcommittee that is being announced, and that is Systems Innovation. The Systems Innovation Committee will focus on scaling pre-hospital blood transfusion programs across the nation, advancing military-civilian integration for casualty management, and guiding research into vehicle extrication to reduce crash mortality. Other focuses of this subcommittee shall include operational modernization, system sustainability and resilience, adaptability, innovation, efficiency, and preparedness. The government is also requesting the following key objectives be addressed by this subcommittee. 1, scaling the national footprint of pre-hospital blood transfusion programs via multi-agency coordinated federal grant programs. And 2, integrating military casualty management strategies into civilian EMS and advancing research to optimize vehicle extrication. I'll pause. And then the third subcommittee being announced today is Integrated Informatics. The Integrated Informatics Subcommittee will focus on data linkage across the public safety environment, including the adoption of Advanced Automatic Crash Notification, or AACN, standardization of 911 protocols, and data integration among NHTSA's National EMS Information System, or NEMSIS, the National Emergency Response Information System, or NERIS, and Health Information Exchange, HIE. Other focuses of this subcommittee shall include systems integration, data linkage, innovation, accountability, and transparency. The government is also requesting the following key objectives be addressed by this subcommittee. unifying stakeholders to drive advancements in AACN adoption and increasing the use of standardized 911 EMD protocols to optimize dispatch, as well as collaborating to link 911 systems, NERIS, NEMSAC, HIE to ensure seamless data integration throughout the response chain. So that is our 3 subcommittees. I'll check with my colleague Clary to see how we're doing with the voting process.
I've got 23 out of 24 responses. I think we can go ahead and announce because we do have a majority. It looks like Michael Thomas is going to be your chair, and Nicholas Cozy is going to be the vice chair. Congratulations, you both.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Clary, I'll defer to you. We are well ahead of schedule. Would you recommend we take a break now or proceed to the next order of business?
We can proceed to the next order of business. Take a break a little bit later.
Okay. Thank you, sir. All right.
Would you like to transfer the?
Yes.
Okay, at this point, we'll transfer moderation to the new chair.
Great. Mr. Chairperson, I pass to you the digital gavel, and congratulations on your election, Mike.
Thank you, Gam. I appreciate it. So the next item on our agenda is nominating subcommittee leadership. The floor is now open for nominations for subcommittee chairs for our newly announced subcommittees. If you wish to nominate yourself or a colleague for a subcommittee chair position, please raise your hand virtual to be recognized by the chair. I see Teresa.
For the Innovations and Informatics Committee, I'd like to nominate Steve McCoy as chair.
Thank you.
Point of order, just confirming that it is Ms. Wyndham's desire to nominate Steve McCoy for 2 subcommittees. One is Systems Innovation and the other Integrated Informatics. Is that correct?
I would say the informatics.
Okay, Integrated Informatics.
I really thought I'd read those as the same. I apologize.
It's fine. It's confusing, but.
And Mr. McCoy, do you accept the nomination?
I accept either one, Mr. President or Chairman.
Okay. Anybody else?
Chair, I'm sorry, I didn't raise my hand, Mike.
You're fine. Mr. Burston, go ahead.
Can I nominate William Leggio to be on the informatics?
Sure. And Dr. Leggio, do you accept the nomination?
I do, thank you.
Okay. Dr. Mayes.
I am not a physician, but but I'd like to nominate Angela Cornelius for Innovations.
And Dr. Cornelius, that is
Yes.
correct for her. Do you accept that nomination?
Yes, sir, I do.
Thank you. I'm sorry, what committee was that? I apologize. What subcommittee?
Systems Innovation. We have
Innovations.
We should have probably done this a little bit more orderly. We currently have, let's open the floor for nominations for Integrated Informatics and finish that one and then move on to Systems Innovation and then Clinical Excellence. That way we've got everything a little bit more organized.
Chair Thomas, can I ask a clarifying point of information question that may be helpful. Are we nominating for subcommittee chairs or
That's right.
positions on the subcommittee? Because I just want to be clear on that.
Subcommittee.
We're looking for subcommittee leadership right now.
Thank you
not,
very much.
Participation in the subcommittees. We'll take care of that once we have leadership for them.
Okay, anyone else on informatics? Okay, anyone else for system innovation? I see Mr. Mayes had his hand back up again. I lost him.
Yeah, I was just gonna nominate myself for informatics.
Okay, back to informatics, okay. Okay, does that close out, Mr. McCoy? Sorry.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I'd also, I'd like to throw my name in the hat for systems innovation. That one aligns with my career pretty good as well.
Okay, so Clary, I know we got out of order a little bit. So we have Steve McCoy, Juan Mayes, and Bill Leggio for informatics, yes?
That's correct.
And then we have Dr. Cornelius and Steve McCoy for systems innovation, correct?
That's right.
Okay. Are there any other nominations for these two subcommittees?
Yeah, hi, this is Keith McMahon. I'd like to nominate myself for system innovation.
System innovations, Keith McMahon, okay. Any other nominations for these two subcommittees? Mr. Samaras, did you? No.
I was waiting for the next subcommittee.
Okay.
I was just preemptive.
Okay. Absolutely. Now we'll open up nominations for clinical excellence subcommittee.
Chairman, I'd like to nominate Dr. Cornelius for this subcommittee.
Dr. Cornelius, do you accept that nomination?
Yes, sir, I do.
Okay. Clinical excellence. Anyone else?
Mr. Chairman, I don't know how to raise my hand, so I apologize. I'll work on my Zoom.
Go ahead, Dr. Fisher, you're good.
I'd like to nominate Dr. Jones for Chair of Clinical Excellence.
Okay, Dr. Jones, do you accept this nomination?
Accept.
Fantastic. Anyone else for Chair of Clinical Excellence? Okay. Hearing none and seeing none. Clary, you see anybody else?
I don't. I think we have our nomination.
Okay. Now we will close the nomination. The Department of Transportation shall select subcommittee leaders from the list of candidates nominated and present those names to the Secretary of Transportation for approval. Subcommittee leaders will be announced at the next convening of NEMSAC. And now for our next agenda item, FICOM's formally request for consultation or advice from NEMSAC concerning the FICOM's strategic plan for pre-hospital blood transfusion program expansion. Gam, back to you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I enjoyed the short break. Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, we do have a letter pending from the FICOM's chair, Administrator Morrison. So we hope to have that to the committee, to the council soon, so that you can share it with your subcommittees as well and begin important deliberations on this area. As I mentioned earlier, and when we were talking about the subcommittee priorities identified by the secretary, our focus and the focus of our federal partners on the Federal Interagency Committee on EMS between now and 2028 is rapidly advancing rapid adoption of pre-hospital blood transfusion throughout the country. So I expect that the letter from the FICOM's chair will be very specific in its asks and ask for very specific guidance from NEMSAC. One of the things that I do want to make available to the council and to your subcommittees as you begin your deliberations and meetings is the resources of the NEMSIS Technical Assistance Center. Us and our federal partners, as we monitor the adoption of pre-hospital blood transfusion around the country, we are paying very close attention to data that is collected by NEMSIS. Not only the how often a pre-hospital blood transfusion administration is occurring, but also we are taking a close look at the number of patients that meet clinical criteria for receiving a pre-hospital blood transfusion. So our priority when we talk with our administrator remains children and the pediatric patient population. So we are taking a very close look at what the NEMSIS data is telling us about patients in children in hemorrhagic shocks, as well as the broader patient population as well. So we will be sure to bring some of our experts from the NEMSIS Technical Assistance Center to have further discussions with you all and talk about what they are seeing at the national level within the data. And how we can collaborate with our national, state, local, tribal, and territorial partners to advance the important initiative of pre-hospital blood transfusion. And then last thing I'd add, and I know all of you hold a lot of expertise in this area, but we are also paying close attention to the use of EMD by 911, and it's important in getting the right care to the right patients safely. As well as outcomes data and seeing the impact of our pre-hospital treatments ultimately on the survival of our patients. So again, more to come. We'll be sharing a formal letter we anticipate sharing a formal letter with the NEMSAC very soon. But I'm happy to pause and certainly entertain any questions, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, are there any questions for GAM? Okay, we're now going to take a 10 to 15-minute break to stretch legs and everything else and get our notes together for the strategic planning discussion. So Clary, when do we come back?
We could just return at the top of the hour. It'll be 2 p.m. Eastern time.
Sounds good. Council's now in recess. Welcome back from break, everyone. We will now spend a few minutes on overall strategic planning. This is an opportunity for members to discuss emerging topics, future advisory ideas, or requests for proposal drafts to be brought before the council at our next convening. Council members, please raise your hand and discuss any strategic priorities you would like from your notes, the notes in the chat, or the meeting minutes. The floor is now open. Mr. Mayes, I see your hands raised.
If I'm understanding correctly, looking at the topics from last meeting and the three subgroup committees, we're trying to formulate which are going into the category at this time, correct?
That is correct, sir.
With the move that AI and EMS data, EMS pot times, patient outcomes, and measuring success and IFT kind of fall under informatics.
Let's consume those one at a time so that we can make sure the public is able to follow along with you.
Absolutely. So specifically, AI and EMS sits right into linkage of data. Feel that it best sits in the informatics categories as you start talking about streamlined data linkage, and also it goes into the conversation of patient care outcomes. So getting the one link of the stream of source, if you're going to say matching everything up from the time that a 911 call happens all the way to the end of the patient outcome when they walk out of the hospital. That's how I kind of look at those two kind of merging. To EMS wall times, that goes into informatics, kind of looking at a joint data set or joint resources, looking at hospital data and also EMS times to offload, and also factors back into outcomes for the patient. Specifically looking at measurements for IFT environment, which is, I would say, a large task in itself to define different interfacility transports and metrics of success, especially depending on the many different systems and type of transports that are reimbursed for, whether it's BLS, ALS, or critical care. That goes back into really needing to know hospital data streams, what patients are being moved for, and goes back into the merged data set.
Great, great points.
I think the recognition, oh, sorry, I forgot to raise my hand. Steve's up first. I'll figure out how to do this.
Go ahead, Peter. You got it, man.
Recognition of EMS as an essential service, I would recommend putting into the systems innovation subcommittee. It seems to be the most focus on that. And when we talk about scaling of pre-hospital blood transfusions and such, I think one of the important parts of that will be the recognition of it as essential service to allow for these services to expand.
Excellent. Chair recognizes Steve McCoy.
Yeah, so obviously, when you look at AI and EMS data modernization, I think some of the AI may belong in innovations as well. But then when we look at obviously EMS innovations, but blood products, I'd like to take into EMS innovations as well. I think it ties well with with the template that you sent out earlier, Mr. Chair, and some of that. We see some of those programs now that are coming up with unmanned aerial programs that are doing whole blood programs as well. So I think that'd be good there. And then innovation in resuscitation obviously would be good. And then just innovative care models all with under the innovation subcommittee.
Excellent. Dr. Cornelius, floor is yours.
Thank you. I would move that pre-hospital innovation and resuscitation seems to fall well underneath innovations section of this. I would also move that, where was it? There was one, the sustainable scaling of mobile integrated healthcare. This one I sort of see as it could fall in two different parts, one under clinical excellence and one under innovation, because it sort of crosses that line between the two. So I could see how that one could fall under either one of those. And then I think the EMS innovations, the funding, perhaps could fall under some EMS innovations, because I do think we probably need to be thinking about this from a different standpoint than we have in the past.
Excellent. Chair recognizes Bill Leggio.
Thank you, Chair. I'm not sure if they've been discussed yet, but certainly around the reimbursement and financial sustainment, I do think that that could live in a couple buckets. One, system innovation as well as integrated informatics. And then the bullet on EMS license and certification maintenance models, including specialty certifications. I believe that could be best served in clinical excellence, especially with the potential for the EMS Education Agenda 2050 work.
Great points. I think Chair recognizes Steve McCoy. I saw first again.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to, the bullet with system throughput and patient handoff efficiency going to the innovations piece. This kind of matches well with the Medical Operation Coordination Center things that are with ASPR and HHS. So I think that would probably be a good handoff, and it also ties into the military aspect as well.
Agree. Mr. Samaras.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think this kind of goes without saying, but every reference that we have to blood really should probably be blood or blood products. Again, I think that's probably a given across the board, but with the FDA's recent approval of the freeze-dried plasma, I think it's worth just mentioning that we're not just looking at whole blood, and it's blood or blood products. That's all.
It's an essential point. Great. Thank you. Dr. Calhoun, Chair recognizes you.
Thank you, sir. The only thought I had is that someone mentioned earlier, and I apologize for not remembering who it was, that blood and blood products, the pre-hospital blood and blood products topic probably belongs under innovation. I would suggest that that bullet point may be too broad, because if you look at the charge of the two first subcommittees, both heavily hinge on blood and blood products. So if you were to put that whole topic in innovations, I think that's problematic for those charges of those committees. So I'd suggest we spend some time trying to divide that one up at some point.
I agree completely. Dr. During.
Yeah, I was really just going to say a similar thing. I think there's two sides to blood and blood products. One is the innovation where we talk about drone delivery and stuff like that. But I think there's also very much a clinical side to that as we learn more about pre-hospital blood, how to give it, what the best methods are. I think there's very much a clinical side to that as well. So I think it sort of needs divided up into a couple different bullet points that go to different places.
Agree. Clary, it seems like a lot of these subcommittees were formed with the intention to split some of these topics up among them. It looks like that for just about any of them, really.
Yeah, when we discussed these, it was before the subcommittees came along, so it's now kind of retrofitting them back into a subcommittee, and also points of discussion to encourage all subcommittees to look at all topics and decide if there's room for collaboration for two subcommittees to work on one topic is always an option.
Great. Mr. Vice Chair, I see you have your hand up earlier. Did you take it down? Did you?
No, thank you, Chair. We had talked a little bit about reimbursement, but going back to the innovative payments and care models under systems innovation.
Great. Anybody else? Any strategic planning they'd like to discuss here? Chair recognizes Crystal.
Hey, thank you. I wanted us to consider workforce retention and recruitment to be under the Clinical Excellence Committee with agenda for the future for education and also the consideration of as a profession advances, retaining those experienced providers becomes increasingly important.
Excellent. Dr. Deering.
Yeah, I was just going to throw out there, it's sort of already listed as one of the concerns for the clinical care committee. It's not one we discussed last time, but improvements to pediatric specific care. As the pediatric emergency medicine person, I feel like it's my job to sort of bring that one up. But advancements to pediatric emergency care, and specifically pediatric trauma care, as it is the leading killer of children in our country. So advancements to pediatric care and pediatric trauma care going into clinical care as well.
Excellent. Any other topics for strategic planning? Chair recognizes Dr. Cornelius.
Yes, sir. Did we talk about alternate destination protocols and reimbursement as of yet? Okay. I think that one falls pretty clearly under EMS innovations, obviously alternate destinations. But again, the reimbursement part is something we need to approach outside of the box and really think out.
Reimbursement typically comes up in just about every category of subcommittee, especially when we're talking about blood and two different ones. And so that's going to be a heavy topic, I would say. Dr. Deering.
Yeah, I would add to that, not just treatment, alternative destination, but also adding reimbursement for treatment in place as well, as that's another significant stream of place of care and stream of revenue as well, adding to sort of that idea of alternative destination.
I was going to discuss that with Dr. Michaels earlier. I didn't want to put him too much on the spot though in our first meeting here, but I was going to discuss treatment in place, but we'll get to that for sure. Juan.
Specifically around TIP treatment in place, I believe CMS just had maybe not CMS, but the board regulating, there was a recent update on that. So that might be worth a future conversation between some of the officials of the subcommittees and the chair and the co-chair, specifically with the physician of CMS, to kind of get a little bit more details on what the ask is to produce the data needed to show the need for TIP.
Agree. Anybody else for strategic planning?
Some of the topics remaining include EMS clinical safety regarding physical and psychological violence, mental health and wellness of the EMS clinician, readmission avoidance. I think we still need to touch on that.
Dr. Cornelius.
Down my mute button. I think readmission avoidance, it falls underneath the EMS innovations category pretty clearly. That goes right along with the treatment in place and the MIH and other EMS innovations.
Concur. Juan.
Regarding some of the topics and innovation, absolutely tie back into the informatics ability to pull information, go back into outcomes, get those readmission rates, and also how to essentially stop those, which then go back into treatment in place and those other different conversations. It really comes to those two committees kind of almost on a shared cadence, meeting maybe one after the other to make sure they're on the same page.
Excellent. Dr. Cozy.
Mental health and wellness of EMS clinicians, as well as EMS clinician safety, go hand in hand. in order to provide clinically safe and effective care to patients. And so I think that may be a nice landing spot for them under clinical excellence.
Agree. I think there were a couple more topics out there if anybody wants to take a stab at those. Clary, one or two?
Let's see. I think in some of the definitions of the subcommittees earlier when we talked about them, we mentioned that we thought that the government mentioned that we thought that the unifying stakeholders to drive advanced automatic crash notifications at ACN, adoption to increase use of standardized 911 emergency medical dispatch protocol. That was something we were asking for you guys to look at, and we lumped it under integrated informatics. I'll put that for you guys to discuss.
Steve.
Yeah, that one obviously goes into integrated informatics. I think informatics is going to intertwine in all of these topics, obviously. So we'll have to untangle it all later. But without a doubt, the ACN and I don't know about the 911 protocols going under informatics. That may be more, that could be considered clinical excellence as well, you know. But I know ACN is obviously informatics all day long.
Juan.
Regarding the EMD protocols, I think there's a lot of research that has come out recently in the past few years, specifically on using a good dispatch algorithm to identify what the patient needs or the potential for it. I think merging all of those, it's hard. It kind of fits under both, right? Clinical excellence of a dispatch center, and then also what are we going to do for the informatics, that whole piece of looking at the outcome of the patient. So it kind of fits back into both sections, but the EMD protocols, there's a lot to be inferred from that information, that data set you can get from looking at patient demographics, specifically looking at blood care, looking at all different kinds of innovations and frequent users, readmissions, all that different things. So I think it all kinds of goes together, but definitely informatics as well.
Great.
Another one of the government's requests has to do with health information exchanges, maybe recommendations that for federal systems to integrate and how it could serve as a example for integration at state and local levels. I believe that was under integrated informatics.
Thank you, Clary. Steve.
So under innovation, we got research and optimized vehicle extrication. A lot of that, when you look at the nearest data and you look at NEMSAC data and looking at the research of extrication and what it's worth, that may be more appropriate in informatics and looking, because you're going to have those two data sets hopefully linked when you're looking at extrication and research. So I think that would probably fall up under there.
And which one's that again?
Yeah, in the second bullet under innovations, you got integrating military casualty management strategies into civilian EMS and advancing research and to optimize vehicle extrication. That research to optimize vehicle extrication may belong better with informatics with the nearest database and NEMSAC there.
Okay. And did you want to tackle the first part of that too, the casualty care that's used by the military and how it can integrate?
And that stays in innovations.
Cool. Thank you.
Anything else under strategic planning? Dr. During.
I would say that the trauma casualty care and integrating that may belong under clinical excellence, because that is clinical care, updating trauma guidelines. I mean, I think that obviously I think it's innovative as how you integrate that, but I think there's very much a clinical component to that may be better served under clinical excellence.
Mr. Chair,
Sir.
I would echo that that Mr. During said with regard to number 2 under innovation, the military stuff going under clinical excellence, as well as to Steve McCoy's point about advancing research. I think that plays a role in clinical excellence as it relates to education pieces for that research, as well as the practical application of it.
Sounds like all these subcommittees are going to work off each other's plates. Any other discussion for strategic planning?
Well, as you well know, Mr. Thomas, an advisory takes a while to put out. So
as I do,
it's gonna require everybody cooperation anyway.
Bill Leggio.
Thank you, Chair. And listening to the conversation, I think part of the challenge is going to be some of the work, in creating the framework may live with one committee, but then the actual utilizing the data or what is actionable may be best with another committee. I think about like advancing research to optimize vehicle extrication. The actual work of that may best live in systems innovation, but certainly integrated informatics needs to tackle the integration with ACN and other databases so that the framework is there so that the next committee then can take action. So I think we need to be mindful of that, but certainly there's going to be a lot of interdependencies between the work of these subcommittees. It's going to be fun and exciting.
Excellent points.
And just the thing to remember is these are themes. These are not advisory titles yet, so they can be split up all over the place.
And probably will.
And probably will. And we'll let our new chairs decide how they want to start doing that once we have those appointed.
Anything else up for discussion for strategic planning? Going once. Okay. Clary, is there any public comment?
Not at this time.
Okay.
But I did want to announce that we opened solicitation for our 911 representative recently, and that's going to be open to the middle of next month or this month. I believe it closes on the 16th, if I'm not mistaken. But that has been published in the Federal Register announcing that we're seeking applications for that position on NEMSAC. If you're interested in that, if you're watching from home and you're interested in and meet the qualifications for that, or interested in knowing if you meet the qualifications for that, if you could send me an email at clary.mole@dot.gov, my first and last name with a period between it, at dot.gov, I will send you a response link to that Federal Register notice. And that Federal Register notice will also inform you of what you need to submit as part of your application packet. No, there is no application form. It's just a packet with the information that we request. So thank you for that opportunity to announce that.
Thank you, Clary. Do we need to open for public comment?
I am not seeing any public comment coming in. There was none submitted to the NEMSAC email address, and I'm not seeing any coming in from the live feed.
Okay. All right. Well, that being said, thank you to our council members for your dedicated service and thoughtful participation today. And thank you to the members of the public who joined our live stream. Information regarding our next meeting date and Federal Register notices will be distributed via Gov delivery and posted on ems.gov. I will now entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
For a second?
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you all. We are adjourned.